Hallo und willkommen zurück zu Folge 66 von If My Heart Had Wings und der 13. Folge auf Kotoris Route. In der letzten Folge haben Ari und Kotori ihr Date fortgesetzt, dabei ein fancy Café besucht und ganz viel French Word gegessen, schließlich noch den Dress für Kotori gekauft und dann sind sie endlich nach Hause zurückgekehrt. Ja, das war's auch schon. Und jetzt starten wir den nächsten Tag. Uff. Wir gehen auch noch in den nächsten Tag, ohne dass das Chapter vorbei ist. Boah. Bin ja erst bei 80 Minuten. Schlimm. Muss es jetzt auch wirklich gehen. It's morning. Finally, today's the day. Sind wir wieder in Kotoris Perspektive? Quack. Good morning, Hat. It's still early, so you can sleep some more. Quack. I got out of bed and changed into my clothes. I moved my wheelchair and got to my desk. I took the notebook, Iska's flight log that I had placed on the desk last night. Ever since the day I found this notebook, I began gazing up at the sky. Even before then, I had a vague yearning to fly. My name means small bird after all. I didn't like it when I was a kid, but I was conscious of it. Ich habe vor kurzem gelernt, dass Kotori auch als mit Kanji geschrieben werden können, die man dann als Lovebird lesen würde. Ich dachte tatsächlich so, oh, wird Kotori vielleicht so geschrieben? I joined a... Sagt man auf Englisch einfach Ballad? Wie das Voting-Ding? I joined a ballad club and practiced jumping higher and higher every day, but no matter how high I jumped, I still couldn't fly. It was very frustrating. Ja, du weißt, was du machen musst, ne? Einfach 20 Kilo oder so mit dir rumtragen, immer mehr jeden Tag und immer setzt du die ab und BAM! Yeah. After the accident, when I couldn't move my legs anymore, this irritation became even stronger. It felt like my wings had been pulled off and that I was tossed into a cage. Then I found this notebook. It was a record of how one girl found a way to fly and did it herself. In my heart, the vague desire to fly was tied to the silhouette with spread wide wings. I want to try flying too. I put myself in Iska's shoes and read this journal like I was reading a fairy tale. Many times over. What I yearned for back then. Today I will be able to reach it. Ja, macht es für Sie jetzt so einen großen Unterschied, noch selbst zu fliegen, anstatt nur im Gleiter mitzusitzen? Ich muss tatsächlich sagen, ich kann generell mit diesem ganzen Fliegen wollen Motiv nicht so sehr relaten. Ich stelle mir das schon ganz cool vor. Aber so, keine Ahnung, nicht so wie ein Dream. So, das unbedingt mal gemacht haben wollen oder so. Ich denke mir so, ja, bestimmt nice, aber that's it. Ich glaube aber, ich glaube generell gibt's kaum etwas. Ich kann mir wenig vorstellen, wo ich mir denke, so, ja, das einmal gemacht zu haben wäre so nice. Ja, keine Ahnung. I'm so nervous I couldn't sleep well. Because of that, my eyelids were so heavy. Kotori-senpai, are you awake? If you don't wake up now, you'll be late. Yeah, I'm awake. I'll come in a minute. Okay. Hat, I'm heading out. Behave yourself. Quack. Looks like today will be pretty hot again. Senpai complained while looking at the sun reproachfully. The sky was clear. Small clouds were floating here and there was a little bit of wind. This is the control stick and you operate the rudder with this, okay? Don't mix them up. Wenn sie ihr das jetzt erst noch sagen muss, dann sollte sie vielleicht nicht fliegen. This is the control stick. This is the rudder. Kotori, sitting in the cockpit, repeated the instructions with a meek expression. Don't touch them until I let you, especially during takeoff. This could be seriously dangerous. Yeah, got it. From the rear seat I could only see the back of Kotori's head, but I still could feel her tension. Kotori, Kotori. Amane-senpai approached. Today she took the day off to come here. She wanted to see the cockpit she designed in action. On top of that, she still hasn't seen any test flights of the improved glider. Da muss Akari ja auch noch da sein, ne? What is it, Amane-chan? I'm kind of busy right now. Haha, you're nervous, huh? The sky is scary. It's so high. Es ist echt schwierig, irgendwie gefühlt so ein Lachen nachzumachen, wenn es nicht echt ist. Und deshalb fällt es mir auch nochmal besonders schwer bei allen außer Aoi. Bei Aoi versuche ich halt irgendwie nur natürlich zu sprechen eigentlich. Bei den weiblichen, gerade bei den weiblichen Charakteren, oder eigentlich bei allen anderen Charakteren, verstelle ich halt die Stimme irgendwie ein bisschen. Und das dann irgendwie, ja, das Lachen da, ich kann es nicht. Das hört sich, glaube ich, immer irgendwie komisch und awkward an. She said in extremely good mood. At times like this, you should write the person kanji on your palm and swallow it. Kotori glared at her. It's just because I'm so excited right now. Leave making fun of me for later. It's more like getting even than making fun of her, though. Back when Senpai was scared before the original test flight, Kotori slapped her in the face many times with the hand where she wrote the person kanji on. Even Amane-senpai can be a little unexpectedly vengeful sometimes. I like it. Since you're like that, I'll lend this to you. Amane-senpai held out the charm to prevent traffic accidents Kotori gave her the other day. Thanks, Amane-chan. Everything's ready on this end. Asa-chan, who was in charge of operating the winch, said this over the radio. Alright, let's fly then. Kotori, enjoy a date in the sky. The canopy was closed. I felt the tension rising. We did the final checks and prepared for takeoff. From the rear seat I gauged Kotori's mood. Though she was nervous, it seemed she was itching to do this. Do you remember the takeoff procedure? I've practiced it on the simulator a lot. Amane-senpai's simulator also covered takeoff and landing. Ich frage mich, ob sie auf dieser Route auch die Morning Glory nochmal sehen werden. Weil bisher war der einzige, auf der Fail-Route ist es ja nicht passiert, auf Asas Route auch nicht, ne? Nur auf Joris und Asas Route, meine ich, oder? Even if the controls are different due to Kotori's disability, I'm sure she at least memorized all of the procedures. Then let's go. I gave Ageha the sign that we were ready. Ageha then signaled to Asa-chan that the takeoff preparations were complete. The winch started up. The glider that Kotori and I were riding in ran down the runway. In mere seconds, the wide airframe with huge spread wings left the ground to soar high in the sky. When we released the towing rope, turn around and confirm the separation with your eyes. The winch was pulling the glider using a towing rope, a long rope connected by the hook at the bottom of the glider. When the releasing lever is pulled, the hook should disconnect. If it failed to disconnect, it could cause a major accident. If the glider passes over the winch, the hook is designed to automatically disconnect when it's pulled back. But this system isn't perfect. Towing rope release confirmed. Kotori visually confirmed the falling parachute. Alright, takeoff successful. So today we'll start with the basics of flying. Hat sie nie im Simulator trainiert oder was? Okay. I explained the glider's basic operations to Kotori. For real? Das macht man doch nicht im Ernst so, oder? Man lässt doch niemanden fliegen, der noch nie geübt hat, zumindest, oder? Also man macht die Übung doch nicht in Reality so mit, also. From normal turns to steep turns and other important points. It was just a normal glider flight, there weren't that many operations to be remembered. The only complicated procedures are during takeoff and landing. Besides those, there was also practice on how to recover from unexpected situations like stalls or spins. And while those are vital to prevent accidents, it wasn't necessary to teach her those right now. Alright, give it a try. Okay, I'm turning left. Kotori grasped the levers which operate the control stick and rudder. I kept my hand on the control stick but didn't put any strength in it. The glider banked to the left and started turning. It was slipping. Step on the rudder a bit more. In Kotori's case, she shouldn't exactly step on it, but I said it like this out of habit. Slipping means that the nose is pointing in the opposite direction of the bank of the wings. What? Right now the glider was banked left and was about to turn in that direction. If the nose was facing right, during the turn the airframe would fly somewhat sideways. Okay. Ensure that the nose isn't facing the direction of travel and you leave it as if the lift will decrease and the airframe will drop more than necessary. Kotori leaned the lever which operated the rudder. The nose of the plane faced inward. When the glider regained balance, it smoothly turned left. Pay attention to the yaw string. The yaw string resembles an earthworm and is attached to the front of the canopy where the air current hits. It is a very simple but useful gauge made from knitting wool. When you're turning left or right, the yaw string indicates slip or skid. This single piece of thread will lean outwards when the plane is slipping and inwards when it's skidding. Okay. Sollte das Ding nicht immer inwards zeigen, wenn du dich drehst, weil das Glider halt diagonal steht? Also nicht horizontal? Huh? If it's stretched straight during the turn, the airframe is balanced and you can perform a clean maneuver. If the yaw string is bent, you should apply more rudder in the opposite direction. Now one more time. Try turning right. Okay. While checking the yaw string, Kotori operated the control stick and rudder. The glider banked right. This time it was turning smoothly and properly balanced. Everyone, I brought some ice cream. Here. Oh, how thoughtful of you, Yoru-chan. That was unerwartet. Yay, ice cream. How is it going, Nia-san? Kotori-senpai is still flying. I'm not sure, but she seems to be doing really well for her first time. Kotori is amazing. She's better than me already. She's always had good reflexes. In addition, she practiced with the simulator quite a lot. So you knew? I only saw by chance. I noticed she was sneaking to the secret base and I wanted to check what she was up to. Kotori-senpai doesn't show her hard-working side to anyone. That's so cool. No, that's a little weird. I think she was simply embarrassed to show anyone her ridiculous enthusiasm, though. But there's no doubt Kotori is a hard-working person. Kotori's flight training continued. We were gradually losing altitude, but we still had some margin. That's thanks to Kotori keeping the sink rate to a minimum. Whee! Was ist das? The airframe gliding through the empty air lightly shook upwards for a moment. What was that just now? Probably a thermal. If we get on it, we could fly higher. Roger. Kotori turned the glider around and searched for the spot we passed just now. There was a reaction. Here, a thermal. Thermals have cores. To find those, you should fly in circles with a small radius if possible. Kotori searched for the core while flying around slowly, drawing a figure 8. Suddenly our rate of climb increased noticeably. Ah, got it. Over there. As Kotori found the core, she leaned the control stick and tried to make a sharp turn. Whoa. The glider turned while maintaining a steep bank angle. As we turned sideways, we were assaulted by a strong G-force. I felt as if all my blood went to one side. My consciousness got a bit hazy. When I'm not controlling the glider myself, I can't predict when the G-force will kick in. It's quite tough. While thinking that, I shouted, "Be more gentle when you're turning." Sorry. Kotori loosened up on the control stick. The bank got shallower and the G-force weakened. So that was a bad move? Take a good look at the variometer. Even though the glider should have entered the thermal's core, it was actually sinking. When you bank deeply, the sink rate will also increase. You should find just the right amount of turning radius while judging the strength of the thermal. If the turning radius is small, the bank gets too steep and the glider loses altitude. Nevertheless, to be able to climb, you'd have to find a thermal strong enough to raise the airframe despite this issue. If the thermal's core is very strong, it's better to bank a little steeper to stay within it. Of course, there's a limit. But otherwise, it's necessary to keep the bank shallow to reduce the sinking rate. Ich war einfach überrascht, dass auf jetzt wieder so tatsächlich praktische Glider-Tutorials kommen, nachdem wir die lange nicht hatten. Meaning you have to play it by ear, right? Yes, so who's the idiot who made a steep turn to stay inside the core? No matter how strong the updraft on the core, it won't carry the glider upwards if it's banked too steeply. Furthermore, the constant G-force will really make you lose consciousness before long. Das ist so eine Sache, die ich mir gar nicht vorstellen kann. Diesen Effekt hat man halt im normalen Leben sonst so kaum. Das Einzige, wo ich das jemals halt so ein bisschen gefühlt habe, ist auf so Achterbahn und sowas, denke ich. Also so, ja. So Dinge auf Dom halt. Attraktionen. But I want to fly higher as quickly as possible. Kotori said this impatiently. Damn, what a daredevil. However, the turn itself was very neat. Really? I watched the yaw string and there was almost no slip. At first glance it seemed unreasonable, but in reality it was a beautiful, perfectly balanced turn. Sink rate was also kept at a minimum. There's no need to rush, it's better to climb slowly. Okay. Kotori replied cheerfully, then maintained an appropriate bank to make the glider climb. They're flying around and around. They call it thermal. Oh, they're so high, just looking at it is scary. I hope she didn't get too excited by her first flight. Hey Aoi, can you hear me? What is it, Agaya? Aren't you flying too high? We caught a great thermal. It's fine, I'm backing her up. Well, okay then. Kotori, don't do anything unreasonable. You heard her? Don't overdo it. Okay, I get it. Kotori responded, concentrated on flying. She was completely focused on riding the thermal. I was honestly surprised when I gazed at the ground getting distant. There's almost nothing left to teach her. When it comes to basic operations, she almost perfected everything. She's beyond a fast learner. No matter how many times you use the simulator, it's not the same as actually flying. But Kotori got the hang of it right away and was able to catch an invisible thermal and take the glider higher. Her piloting skills, no, her senses, might be far above the rest of us. I've come closer to the sky, Kotori muttered while gazing out through the canopy. Meanwhile, the glider continued climbing steadily. This is a good thermal, it's quite strong. There's quite a bit of crosswind right now, so be careful. When I said this, Kotori looked down. Whoa, we're so high. The ground looks hazy and almost surreal. That's because we're twice as high up from the Tokyo Tower right now. Oh, wie hoch war Tokyo Tower? 400 Meter? Huh. Nee, warte. Nee, Tokyo Tower war ein bisschen kleiner. Skytree ist das, woran ich denke. Right now our altitude is approximately 700 meters. We caught a good thermal and Kotori ended up climbing this high on our first flight. So the windmill hill has that shape? It looks like a crescent moon. From this height, being directly above the windmill hill, we could see all of it with one sweep of the eye. The hill ran alongside the lake in a semicircular shape. The shape catches the breeze blowing from above the lake. The wind gets stronger as it travels up the hill and it rotates the windmills. The wind that blows from above the lake gets caught by the half-moon-shaped hill. It gathers there and gets stronger and then runs up the hill. The windmills were built there because of this phenomenon. It feels great, flying like this. Kotori sighed softly, her voice carrying a hint of pain. I feel so free, like I could forget about my legs. When she's flying, she doesn't need her legs. Only in times like these does she truly seem free. I knew it. It suits you better to fly on your own instead of having someone else fly for you. Kotori thought about it a little before answering. Yeah, that might be so. Ich glaube, ich brauchte jetzt eine Pause vom Lesen einfach. Das ist anstrengend einfach. So noch knapp 100 Minuten hat die Aufnahme jetzt. Ich hoffe, das Kapitel ist nicht zu Ende. My name is Kotori, right? Ever since I was little, I've always looked up at the sky while thinking about flying. I never thought those dreams would come true, though. My father picked it. His hobby was photography. He would often take pictures of the sky. He told me that on the day I was born, the sky was deep blue, and that's why he named me Aoi. I mean, the sky is blue on most days, but okay. So this place resembles your birthplace. Yeah, we're kind of the same. Okay. I replied while smiling at our embarrassing exchange. Now that you mention it, there was a clear blue sky on the day I heard how I got my name too. It feels special to me. Well, after that, I learned that the kanji for my name actually refers to a greenish-blue color. It was a little disappointing. Rising into the sky feels great. I wish I could keep flying forever. Rising into the sky in a glider felt marvelous. It was as if we were released from the bounds of gravity. I saw Kotori's profile as she gazed outside the canopy. She looked like she was thinking about a faraway birthplace. Don't be careless. Remember, always pay attention to the airflow. Otherwise we'll lose altitude. Okay. Kotori answered vigorously and gripped the control stick more firmly. We're done cleaning up over here. Good job, let's call it a day. We flew until sunset and then left the field. Between maintenance and rest time, we got in 5 flights. Today's first flight was really long. That's because there were some great thermals. The flight had the ideal soaring conditions. The best way to learn is to fly as much as possible. Because the number of times we can fly is limited, it's best to be in the sky as long as possible. Kotori made a lot of progress today, to the point where she can even take off and land. Kotori really is an amazing person. I don't think I know anyone who could match her. Senpai had been impressed the whole time today. It's all thanks to the cockpit that you designed. Yeah, I'm glad I could help. By the way, where did she go? If you're talking about her, she went outside. She slacked off from cleaning up and was just daydreaming. Yoda-chan, who just returned inside, told us. Go tell her we're done for today. Okay. Outside of the secret base, Kotori was gazing up at the sky absent-mindedly. What are you doing? I feel my body shaking, as if I were still in the sky. This is the top of the hill. If you raise your gaze a little, the ground disappears from your field of vision and it looks as if you were floating in the sky. Even though this was your first flight, you were flying for quite a long time. Kotori looked up into the sky with a hint of pain in her eyes, as if she was yearning for it. What should I do? After today, nothing will be the same again. I experienced such a wonderful thing today. I feel like my head is in the clouds. I also felt like that on the day of my first flight. To the point I thought living with your feet on the ground was annoying. We'll fly again, as much as we want. We spent a whole year preparing for that. Yeah. The sky that was so clear and blue during daytime was now filled with countless twinkling stars. Kotori's eyes that gazed at that sky so yearningly were sparkling just like the stars. Oh. Das kommt mir gerade recht.